My friend, welcome to the world's best kept secret podcast. The podcast that shows spiritual entrepreneurs how to clarify their message and then how to turn that clarity into revenue. I'm your host, Prima Joe, a mentor and message expert since 2020. Whether you seek to simply clarify your message or feel ready to monetize your brilliance, this is your safe space for actionable guidance and practical tools on how to turn your woo into predictable revenue. Let's get started, shall we? Welcome back to today's podcast, and today's podcast is with Jenna. And Jenna is such a lovely soul. The work Jenna does is simply this. She helps you create your soul blueprint, which then helps you in business or life. For today, we're focusing on business because a big audience that Jenna serves are business owners. So let me see if I can paint a picture. When I started business, I just dived in. Like you get into the swimming pool with your clothes, you don't even know what you're doing, and hopefully you don't drown. That's what I did with business. I jumped in with 2 feet and things failed and other things failed and other things worked, and I kept writing down what worked, what didn't work, what I liked, what I didn't like. And I eventually now, 10 years later, I have an idea of what works for me and what doesn't, but I don't know what. But I just know that if I do that thing, it usually works. If I do that thing, it usually doesn't work. People who give me scripts, I listen to them and I'm like, I feel this icky thing. And for some other people, they teach me things and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so doing that. So I have come to a place where I appreciate someone who's made hundreds and hundreds of millions saying something and I go, yeah, just not for me. But when I was new, I took on everything. If Tony Robbins said, do this, I would just go and do it. And it wouldn't work. If he said, go and speak enthusiastically, I would try to speak like Tony Robbins and it wouldn't work. When someone gave me a script, I would look at their results and I'd go, they made 100 million. They must know what they're talking about. I'll take the script, and every time I try to use a script, my body would say, no. And I'd be like, what's going on? And I kept saying, my mindset, I need to work on that. But doesn't matter how much mindset work I did, nothing helped. I slowly started to build a list for myself. And I said, this is Prima's strategy and this is not. And when I met Jenny, it was so clear for me what I missed. And that was the human design parts of things. Now, I don't know about you. When I started, I didn't know what human design was. When I started this podcast, people started talking about human design. And I got curious, like, what's that? I went on the internet, I tapped in my date of birth, place, and blah, and I got something. And it was like a random report from the robot. And I was like, what is this? Some things were like true, and some things were just like from, I don't know, encyclopedia. And you know, like how a professor writes something and it's supposed to be used by everybody. That's how I felt. And I was like, I need to go slow with this human design generated reports, blah, blah, blah. I think what I have is enough. Some things work for me, some things don't work for me. But it's hard for me when I work with clients who don't really know what is it that works and what doesn't. Because usually they'll try to do everything and they'll be frustrated because not everything will work. So today I have Jenna, and we're going to dive in and understand how to have a map before you get in the woods. Because I look at business as the woods. But most of us dive in, no map, and we just start to do everything, which is really gambling your way until you're frustrated and out of business. And so today what we're going to cover is, hopefully, how can you get to know who you are, what you're here to do, how to do it, so you don't gamble. So you go in the marketplace knowing who you are, what type of leader you are, and you just lead and others follow. That's what knowing yourself through this type of report does. Jenna does not just give you the report. She gives you the report in reference to business and in reference to who you really, really are, relevant to your soul blueprint. Now, I know that's a lot. But trust me, she's done it for herself. She's done it for as long as I know. And if you're talking about somebody who lives and breathes work that takes the ickness out of business, we're looking at her right now. I'm going to make sure that we go as deep as possible so that you can see what is possible for you when you say yes and get the awareness that you need to be able to empower yourself on what business strategy is for you and what is not. Okay? I hope that's enough for you. At the end of this, I want you to think who is the one person that if I shared this information with them, I would change their life. Someone who struggled with business so much, someone who's hired coaches and coaches and coaches, and they're just unhappy because they're looking for that thing which will work for them. What if you knew what worked for you and your role in the marketplace was to go, who has this thing? What if it could be that easy? What if you had the GPS, the map, and you were just driving to a certain destination? What if you didn't have to jump into the Uber without a GPS? Because that's what most of us are doing. We're getting on the road and we're saying, which of these cars is an Uber and where are we going? I don't even know. So let's dive in. Jenna, welcome to World's Best Kept Secret. I am so excited for this conversation.
Thank you. Wow, with that introduction, Prima, you have the gift of words. Everything you said, I don't know that I could describe what I do better than you just did. And the journey that entrepreneurs and business owners take, that metaphor of like jumping into the woods, like I see that like they jump in and get lost in the forest and they can't even see the whole forest for the trees and they're stuck and then most give up. And this is your blueprint, your GPS to navigate your way through all that to truly find what works for you. So I'm really excited to dive into this with you today.
It's so scary to think that such a thing exists. I wish someone handed me this thing 4 years ago when I was diving all in with 4 feet in the internet woods without any idea who I was and what business I was meant to even create. I really wish this existed. So
Yeah.
pull a stool, pull your tea, pull whatever the wine it is you take, whatever the thing you drink, and let's dive into this thing. Because I feel like, yeah, hell is breaking rules today. So
Yes. Let's dive in.
where should we start? What is a soul blueprint? What is human design? What is all that stuff? What
Yeah,
does it
well,
mean?
let's talk about it. A human design is a system that was developed by a man in 1987.
Mm,
Um, like the quick Reader's Digest history of it. This man whose name is Ra Uruhu, he had what is referred to as a mystical experience. He channeled the system, which I know sounds super woo-woo, but then he devoted the rest of his life to research and studying and developing it into the system that we use today. What he discovered is that layering several ancient and modern sciences together, such as astrology, the chakra system, the Chinese I Ching, the Kabbalah tree of life, and quantum physics, you can layer all of those together, and the synthesis of all those is what creates human design. You generate your own unique chart or blueprint according to your birth data, your birth time, your birth date, your birth location. And it takes into consideration exactly how the planets were aligned.
mm,
And that is what configures your chart. Now, how we use this in business. So I want to first say human design isn't a tool for business. It is a tool for your life. It is a blueprint for who you are and how you're meant to be in your most pure, most unconditioned form before you've been taught and told and hit with the very tight box of standards and expectations and guidelines for how to be. Human design is you outside of that, who you're meant to be when you strip all of that away. I like to apply it to business because what I noticed was when I
mm,
got into business, very similar journey to you, a lot of trial and error. Business as a whole is presented to us as a one size fits all sort of construct. If you want to be successful in business as an online entrepreneur, you must do ABC, XYZ. But the problem is, for the vast majority of us, ABC, XYZ is like, oh. Well, that doesn't feel good. It feels
Mm,
icky. So you either try it and it doesn't work and you end up giving up, or you try it and it's not working, so you hustle harder and harder and try more, and you start to make it work, but at a cost of your
mm,
energy, of your fulfillment, your joy, and you end up actually creating a business that you dread and you don't like, which why then are you a business owner? You might as well go work at a 9 to 5 corporate job if you want to make money doing something you don't like. Um, the whole reason why we get into entrepreneurship, into online business, is because we want a business that is a reflection of us, that is a reflection of our values, that's a reflection of our purpose and our enjoyment and our fulfillment, and we get to write our own rules. Like that's the dream. But what happens is we try to fit ourselves inside these one size fits all conventions, and we squeeze ourselves into this tiny business box, and it doesn't feel good. So
mm.
basically, what I do is I take human design, and in the most simplest of terms, like I'm explaining it to your 5-year-old niece or nephew, the most simplest of terms, I show you how to use it to take that ick out of the business and make your business feel good for you again.
I have had a desire to create a business that showed people how to build a business without doing the things they hate.
Mm,
But I didn't know how I came to the things I hate. And so I
mhm.
have battled with this feeling for years. And I want to show people how to build a business without doing the things they hate because I don't do anything I don't like. But again, I had failed to put down like what's the formula? Because I had to
Mm.
just fail and just hate things and feel awkward and kept dropping things. But I didn't really understand, like, okay, how does somebody even know what things they will hate before they experience them? And so I am having goosebumps as you speak because I'm thinking, oh my God, yes, I need to add this tool to my,
Yeah,
like, how easy would it have been for me to have this tool in my box? I
yeah,
have a question. Your
yes,
chart from when we last tested mine, you said I was a manifesting generator. Am I still a manifesting generator?
yes, you are. Yes.
Okay. I do have a question. If I had a twin person, like if I had a twin brother, and we were born same place, same whatever, maybe, I don't know, difference in minutes, maybe,
Hmm.
would that change anything for
Yes.
them?
Yes. Now, the changes in that are subtle and minute. So
Mm,
I think I mentioned that there are over 1,000 touch points of information in a human design chart.
mm,
So when you get deeper and deeper into the minutia of information,
mm,
those are the things that change. But on general glance, like general knowledge, general foundational information, when you look at the two charts together,
mm,
they're gonna look identical for the most part. Unless there's some sort of crazy shift from 1 minute to the next in the
mm,
planetary alignment, the charts will look pretty much the same. You won't be able to see the difference. So it's when we dive deep into like those
mm.
minutia details. And the thing is, those details aren't really relevant or important to the work that I do. I deal more with the foundational concepts because
Mm.
otherwise it's just overwhelming and it just becomes another thing that we feel we have to do or be. And I don't want that. I want ease and flow. That's my whole, like, that's my vibe, ease and flow for everybody. So we don't look at all that stuff. We just look at
Okay.
the foundation.
It's interesting that we get the report from date of birth, time, name, whatever. Because my husband and I have the same thing, manifesting
Mm.
generator, but we're two opposite, different people, and we would
Oh, yeah.
never use the same strategy. And so I am really confused about why we would both be manifesting generators. And everything he likes, I'm like, I'd be crazy to do that. How does that?
So yeah, there, I mentioned that there's so many touch points of information. So there are 5 types. That is the most foundational, and that is like how you lump people into categories, right? Like 35% of the population are manifesting generators. But inside that 35%, there are going to be things that make each and every single one of you completely unique from the other. So you and your husband, yes, you're both manifesting generators, but there's so many components that then go in underneath that foundational type, that make you who you are and make him who he is.
Mm. I
So
know
that's
you
where the
said
difference comes
I know you said you customize the reports, but I want the listener to understand like what's the difference between your report, because I know they don't come cheap. Just for full clarity, her reports are 497. And by the end of this call, hopefully you'll understand that it's totally worth it. What's the difference between a typical report from the internet versus your report, other than the fact that it's looking at just the business component of my
in.
report?
Okay, so what you generate off the internet is really just the chart. It's the
Mm,
chart with the basic information. What?
mm,
What are
mm,
you? A manifesting generator. What's your strategy to respond? What's your authority, emotional? What's your profile, 3-5? It doesn't say the why, it doesn't say the how, it doesn't even say what any of that means. It
mm,
just shows you the what. So when you come to me, I take that chart filled with what's, and then I start plugging in information. I look at all the different components of your chart and I define things like your purpose, your soul's work. Like, what did you incarnate on this earth in this lifetime to do? What energies are you here to embody? And how can we fuse that into the work that you do? We look at how you guide people, the energies that you use to guide them with, and how that impacts them, why people are drawn to you, how you serve them, how you lead them. We look at things like your ideal clients, like this goes beyond the traditional ideal client avatar. I don't care what color their hair is or what kind of coffee they like to drink. This is about what specifically they need your help with and why you have the gifts to help them through that. So it's all based around the energies that are in your chart that draw people to you, that you lead and serve through. That's all what goes into the report that I put together for you.
Wow. So as she's talking, I'm going, oh my God, I am so rusted. Because when we last met, we agreed that she's going to do my report and she's going to roast me right here on the call. As she's talking, I'm like, oh my God, that's scary, that's scary, that's scary. So let's dive into this report. This
Yeah,
is
let's do
Jenna
it.
going over my report, my human design report, and
Yes.
roasting it just the way that she could do yours. We probably don't have 2 hours. She said it's 2 hours to finish, but she's gonna do her best in the time we have to roast
Yeah.
me inside out, and so you can kind of see what to expect. And I'm really hoping that you use this as an inspiration to go forth, have a chat with her, and get your own report, so we can remove all the guesswork in business. Let's go for it.
Yes. Let's go for it. I'm going to share the screen. And
Mm-hmm.
then I may need to just get a few things adjusted.
Okay.
Hold on. Whoop. And share. There we go. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Perfect. So let me pull up what I put together for you. So I've got my notes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I can see everything that we're talking about. Beautiful. Okay, here we go. All right. So first and foremost, you are a manifesting generator. You can see that right here in your
Mm-hmm.
type.
Mm-hmm.
Emotional, that refers to your authority, how you best make decisions. Um, and then we've got down here your incarnation cross. You are the right angle cross of unexpected 4. Now, there's a whole lot that goes into figuring out what your incarnation cross is and like what all that means. But basically, the incarnation cross, and this is where I like to start with all my clients, is
Mm.
it represents your soul's purpose. It represents the energies that you came here, you incarnated into this lifetime to embody and to put out into the world.
Mhm.
So I like to start there because applying it to your business, you can start to use this energy to weave it into literally everything that you do, from your messaging, your content creation, your offers, the way you serve your clients, the impact you have on your clients. You weave this energy into all of it, and it is you embodied. This is how you embody yourself into your business or make your business the embodiment of you. For you specifically, like I said, right angle cross of unexpected. So with these energies, you inspire others to take the first step towards their dreams, towards their new ventures, especially when they're in the energy of feeling hesitant or uncertain. Your energies inspire them. You are here to catalyze a transformation for them and to catalyze emotional experiences for them by guiding them onto new paths, by guiding them into new opportunities, by bringing them insights that previously were out of reach for them. Your energy brings a fresh start to projects, to conversations, to relationships, which kind of makes you like a beacon to your audience for renewal and growth. And you encourage others to embrace what is unexpected, teaching them that the unknown often holds the greatest potential for growth. And lastly, your influence breaks stagnant patterns in your clients and your audience. You help entrepreneurs particularly to see new angles in their messaging or their business strategies, sparking innovative breakthroughs for them. So your incarnation cross, the key words of the vibe of the essence for you are things like imagination, initiation, experience, leadership, influence, purpose, tenacity, nurturing, sustenance. So taking the energies of those words and weaving it into the things that you're creating within your business is how you make it more purposeful and more intentional and more the embodiment of the energy that you're putting out into the world, that you naturally put out into the world. I want to also emphasize that the incarnation cross itself, it's not something that you are trying to be or become. It is who you naturally are. And the more you align and embody your authentic self, this energy just naturally radiates from you. People will recognize that in you. So it's nothing you have to strive to do or try to become in any way,
Mm,
shape, or form. This isn't a
mm,
to-do list. It's not another box to check off your list. This is just being intentional about your authenticity, and that just shines through.
mm.
So with that,
If you're watching this on Apple, Spotify, wherever the audio platform is, Jenna is very kindly sharing this on YouTube. So hop over the YouTube channel Prima Job, the world's best kept secret, and you should be able to enjoy the whole visual exercise. If listening in is doing just as good, carry on, enjoy the rest of it. But if you feel like, oh my God, I wish to see that, jump on the YouTube channel and you should be right there with us enjoying the visual because everything she's talking about, she's flashing on the screen so you can tag along as she explains. Carry on, Jenny.
yeah, absolutely. All right. So this can give us insight to how you influence.
Hmm.
Because it's really important as you're developing your messaging, as you're writing content and copy. A lot of times we're like, oh, I don't even know what my messaging is. I don't know what to say. I don't even know like how I help people. This is like that clarity, starting to understand how these energies work within you. Um, you can infuse that into everything that you're doing, and your audience will be influenced by that energy by, for you specifically, with your incarnation cross, and then also what we call the conscious sun, which is one of the gates that make up the incarnation cross. I feel like I'm getting to a whole crazy level, so you don't need to know what that is or what that means, but just know the conscious sun gate
Mhm.
represents your life's work. And yours radiates the energy of initiating new cycles, helping others start new ventures, helping others start a journey. You naturally create an environment where others feel excited and ready to take that first step.
Mm.
As a as a manifesting generator, your influence is dynamic multitasking. So
Mm.
your aura is expansive, it's fast moving, it's multidimensional, it's multi-passionate, which effortlessly influence others to show them how to juggle multiple projects with ease. So those are your strengths as well. That's your strength as well. And speed comes into play with that. Magnetic speed as a manifesting generator, you're designed to move quickly and efficiently. And that inspires others to take swift action and align with their own inner speed. So you help them to bypass procrastination.
Mm. Wow.
You provide through your conscious sun gate, again, visionary leadership. Not just because of the dynamic aura of you being a manifesting generator, but that conscious sun gate as well. You envision new possibilities and pathways for people, and they're drawn to that energy. You initiate creative breakthroughs for people, nonlinear approaches to problem solving. You help them to break out of rigid thinking and embrace creative and critical thinking. And emotional depth. You've got that defined emotional center with that emotional authority. You guide others to deeply connect with their emotions and help them to explore what they truly desire and experience richer emotional growth. So these are all the different ways that you have influence over your audience and your clients. These are the energies they're influenced by and they're drawn to. So another aspect that I love to look at, and I feel like for business,
Mm.
so much richness, so much gold, so much information lies in this, and it's these energy centers. So this is called the body graph, this thing right here, and
Mm.
it's made up of 9 energy centers. Each center holds a very specific type of energy. And if it's colored in, like you see, you've got these 6 ones that have colored into the colors in them.
Mhm.
That means it's defined. So those specific energies you generate from within yourself. You have consistent access to those energies. Any of them that's left white, like these 3, they're undefined energies, which means you don't generate them within, you absorb them from the external. So you absorb them through your environment and the people around you, and you amplify that energy back to them. So it's almost like you're holding up a little mirror for those specific energies.
Wow.
So this is gold because these defined centers here, those
Mm.
energies hold gifts. When you are in alignment, when you let go, you strip down all the conditioning, all of the programming,
Mm.
all
Yes.
of everything we've been taught and told we had to be. When you let
Mm.
that go and you align with who you actually are, so when you're in alignment, I know it's
Mhm.
a fluff word, but I don't really know how else to describe it. When you're in alignment with your authenticity, these gifts naturally come into play. And you use these gifts to guide other people. So this is like a whole, these energy centers hold the key to everything. So you're able to guide from these gifts. The people who are drawn to you don't have these gifts. So they're seeking you for these gifts. So now we've defined your ideal client. For
Mm.
example, Prima has a defined throat, which is the center for communication and manifestation. When she's in alignment with herself, she can speak on demand. She can speak her truth. I think we've seen that evidenced in her podcast. I've listened and she's very insightful and is able to speak and it's very powerful the way she speaks. So she's clearly in alignment with her throat center, which means the clients who are coming to her either have this throat center undefined, so they don't have access to the energy, so they need it from her, or they have it defined, but they're in their what's called their not self theme, which in other schools of thought could be thought of as the shadow, or just in misalignment, they struggle with with activating and using the energies within their throat. Now, Prima is now able to guide her clients from the lens of speaking effectively, speaking powerfully, speaking your truth, how to communicate for yourself.
I like that. It's like being able to speak your truth without hurting anybody. And even if you hurt them, that's probably accidental, and you
Mm.
don't
Yes.
really, I don't know if I want to say I don't care, but I don't really care. Like, it's my truth, and my goal is that I don't hurt anybody in the process. But if for some
Yes.
reason you feel hurt, it's usually not on me. Like, it's usually because you have
It's
something else that
within
is
problem.
triggering the response. But
Yes.
generally, it's the ability to speak your truth without hurting anybody and without even worrying that you might.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Everything that I'm talking about when I'm talking about your gifts, your
Mm,
powers, your influence, your soul work, all of it, this is all under the assumption that you're in alignment with yourself,
mm, mm,
that you're in alignment with your true heart. So when you're speaking your truth, it is from a heart-centered place, from a
mm,
space of love,
yeah.
not from ill intentions or ill will, because that's rooted in shadow. That's rooted in misalignment.
I think for someone who's wondering alignment and saying it's a buzzword, alignment is really when you get the ego out and let the spirit lead.
Yes. Yeah,
When you feel
exactly.
like you have no need for validation, or I don't know, but it's a state of being where you let the spirit lead, where the ego steps down and the spirit leads. I don't
Yes.
know, when you're being used as a tool to create change or light in the world without necessarily tying that to, I don't know what I can say for that, but just allowing yourself to be a tool of transformation is what I can say with being alignment, like stepping into the work, but without the ego part, like letting the ego rest or doing
Mm,
your best to keep it out.
I love that. Letting
Yeah.
go of the thinking mind, the ego mind, and
Yeah.
allowing like the body, the heart, the soul to lead in everything you
stepping
do.
stepping into a place where you have no guarantees, but you know you're covered by the invisible, I think is how
Yeah,
I would say it. Yeah.
love this.
Yeah.
Yes, all of it. Yes to all of it. Because here's the thing, we are born onto this earth as heart-centered, soul-led beings. That is how we come
Mm,
onto this earth. Then what happens is as we grow and develop, we're told, we're taught, we're conditioned by our
mm,
parents, by our school system, by our media, by laws, by experiences. And that all starts to form our thinking mind, our ego mind, as you put it. And then we start living and operating in the ego mind space, in the thinking mind space. But if we could just let that go and reconnect
mm.
with our heart-centered, soul-aligned place, that is alignment.
Let me explain it
That's
a little bit. The assumption is this chart is true as per birth when you're born. But the
I'm
problem
sorry.
is when we are born, let me try and explain that in a simple terms. When we are born,
Yeah.
this chart is true. But
Yes.
after birth, a lot of things happen. You're a child. So what would be the dream is you're born and you're handed this and you can't understand what it means. And anything that is outside of this doesn't come to you. But the problem is when we are born, is not the best place for this because you can't even use it and your parent has no idea it's there. And so you get conditioned by anything, everything that comes your way, programmed, you get traumatized, you go through life experiences. And what happens with your brain is it creates mechanisms to protect you from being
Mm.
hurt again, from being harmed again, whatever, which is the ego. And as we grow and we grow and we grow, we've really created protective mechanisms, which is what she calls being out of alignment. Is that
Yes.
is that okay, cool. So what she's
Beautiful.
explaining is the prima at birth, but I've also done work. So some of these will be true, some of them won't be true, and I'll frankly tell you which ones are not true right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and again, you and I we had a talk previous to this, and what
Mm,
comes into play when you're looking at your chart and I'm telling you about aspects of your chart and you're like, "No, that doesn't sound like me." Well, what has come into play is
mm,
your life experience
mm,
that shaped you into who you are. So those things don't feel true to you because it's not how you've been operating.
mm. Like
However,
when you said I have the ability to multitask, I was going, everything is right, Jenna, but I kind of don't multitask. But also, where did I learn that from? You know, I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah.
yeah. Well, with a manifesting generator, they're considered multi-passionate. So,
Mm,
one of the conventions of business is you have to niche down, you have to niche down, you have to niche down. You have to have one specific focus and make it so niche
hmm,
that it's very clear exactly the one little thing that you do, the one
mm,
thing that you're an expert in.
yeah.
And that can be great advice depending on who you're giving it to. But as a manifesting generator, a lot of times it's not just one thing. It's a number of things that you do. It's not niched. It's a number of things, but typically they're related by a common thread. Like
Mm,
you work a lot in podcasting. You guide your clients in podcasting, guide your clients in messaging. Like there's a number of ways that you guide your clients. It's not one specific thing. Like if I were to come to you and hire you, I know it wouldn't be simply for my messaging and that's it. I feel like there's a number of things that you can do for me because you have the experience and the passion about a number of things that you're able to share insight on. Now, what you might be putting out there in your actual
mm,
marketing might be just one thing. Like on your Facebook, it says intuitive messaging for entrepreneurs.
mhm.
Cool. So I
It's a
come to you
door.
because I'm like,
It's a
I could
door,
use
but when
intuitive.
they walk in, there's a whole path. For me, it's a door. Also, when I'm messaging,
Yeah.
I tend to message a mindset, which then
Yeah.
gives me different types of people. And so I've
Yeah.
taken this whole niching thing and taken it to like a mindset. Best kept secret is a mindset. And a
Mm,
best kept secret is just somebody who needs help putting their message out there. And the first step for them or the best of the house is the message. But when we
yeah.
build the best, then what? Then we have to put the walls, then we have to put the ceiling. Then but if I come and tell you I'm gonna build a whole house, okay, now I'm competing with Tony Robbins and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
you're
there
very
is
right. Very
once
right.
you open the door, there's a lot of different rooms that come with Prima
Yeah.
that I can get help and guidance in.
If I was to
And
show
that's
people everything, I can do the run. So I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But
Yeah.
if somebody were to tell you, Prima, drop all that and just focus on the messaging and that's it, that would be not so sound business advice for you. Because where you flourish is your ability to bring all these different components together and to offer all of these things that you're passionate about as a manifesting generator. Because a manifesting generator can make it all make sense for us
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and pivot and pivot and pivot, and we can all follow and it can make sense for us. Whereas somebody else who's not a manifesting generator, let's say just a generator,
Mm-hmm.
they're designed more to focus on the mastery of one thing. So the niching down aspect would apply to them and they could thrive and flourish in that and
Mm-hmm.
just focus on the one thing and completely thrive. Their business will thrive on that one thing.
Yeah,
Telling that to
but
a manifesting generator can be like clipping your wings a little bit.
yeah, but still, as manifesting generators, we can still find like our way in the marketplace. But you have to know that that's the resistance. Otherwise, then it's confusing. Then you have to try
Yes.
and do what everyone is doing, and you're not fitting in the box. I wonder what
Yes.
the other energies are. The dark ones, especially.
Um, oh, these ones. Okay, yes.
Mm,
So here, moving here is the
mm,
it's called the will center or the ego center or the heart
mm,
center. It has three different names that you might see depending on where you generate your chart. Basically, it's the center for motivation, for willpower, and for desire.
mm,
So when people are in your energy, you are very motivating. You empower through this center. Um, you instill a sense of ambition, healthy heart-centered ambition and drive, and
mm,
help. your clients take bold steps towards their goals. Also, because of this, self-worth, self-value is held in this center. So you can lead others to set strong boundaries around their
Mm,
time, their energy, especially when it comes to like client relationships, things like that, like holding their worth, holding their value, understanding it, and setting the boundaries that they need to protect it. That's something you're able to guide in through that gift. Now, I want to say this, you're able to guide people in anything that you want. What I am referring to is the most effortless aspects that you can guide people in because it's just who you naturally are.
mm,
You can make yourself guide people in all sorts of things, whether it's your natural energy or not. These are the energies that come natural to you. So this
mm.
is everything that I'm talking about is the way to be in your business in your most effortless state without having to like have any sort of resistance or forcing or hustling or grinding or stress or any of that. It's letting go of all that. What comes natural to you, what comes effortlessly to you, that's what we focus on in your business. So
It's
it
funny
takes,
because it's funny. 5 years ago, I had a coach who was teaching me this stuff like create the life you want, blah blah. I started that like 5 years ago. So he said, if the world was a blank check, how much would you be making? And I said, ooh, 3 trillion. And he was like, what? I said, 3 trillion. And he said, do you have an idea what 3 trillion is? I said, no, but you said if it was a blank check. And he was like, do you know that there's not many people who've made this kind of money? And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll be the first one. But 5 years ago, I was able to literally put down $3 trillion for net worth. And I was like, everyone in the room was like, huh? Who is this person who wants to make 3 trillion? So that's what she's talking about. Talk about dreams, and boy, I'll dream.
yeah. So
So
this
yeah.
year, this center, I want to say my percentages will be a little off. Around
Mm.
65% of people in this world have the center undefined. So if
Wow.
they were asked a question like that, they would be more modest. They would be more, oh, I don't know, maybe $5 million would be nice.
Hmm.
The 25%-ish people who have it defined, desire runs deep in them, and for them, there's a mountain moving energy associated with the center. So it doesn't surprise me that what came out of your mouth was 3 trillion. I'm like, yeah, that's your ego center talking. Your ego center is
Mm.
like, I want that. I'm gonna make it happen. And
It's
if there's
funny because
anybody,
there was another question that said, who right now has your level of success? And I said, I think I'll be as successful if I can do something with Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama or somebody like that in my time.
yeah,
And every time people were looking at me, I was like, you want to do something with Oprah and Michelle? I'm like, why
yeah,
not? Like it's for
yeah.
me, it's here, it's there. And it's very scary because it doesn't matter like where I am right now. Like it's there and it's very strong. I don't know how to explain that, but that's willpower for you.
Yes, yes. And let me tell you, let me validate you in saying that with this defined center that you have, the gifts of it, those dreams that are on your heart, every bit I believe that you can make happen.
Mm,
100% with this energy. You are designed to make those things happen. You're designed to
crazy.
dream big and then make it happen. So
Crazy.
if you're dreaming it and you really truly want it to happen, I'm telling you right now, you can make it happen. Like, go for it. Do it. You'll make it happen. Like, I know you will. I'm going to be like watching your podcast at some point. I'm like, okay, she's sitting down with Oprah. Yep.
Okay, let's go through the energy centers and set some, I don't know, tell the universe what I'm up to and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I want people to watch this and go, oh my God, I fear you now. I'm very scared to watch your
Yeah. I want to switch gears over to this center here, the splenic
Okay,
center, the center for intuition and
okay,
instinct and fear.
okay.
But so when I was on your Facebook, it literally says intuitive messaging for entrepreneurs. Your intuition center is directly connected to your communication center.
Mm,
So and which means You are designed to speak intuitively. So
Mm.
the fact that you already like have this awareness that you're like, this is what I do, intuitive messaging, that is an example of somebody having awareness and being in alignment with their natural innate energy. So
The,
without even having ever seen your human design chart, you already figured it out. And that's just a testament to how self-aware you are.
the shocking thing or the scary thing is this is something I stumbled on after failing so many things and trying to do so many things that I felt were off. So this is me 5 years into figuring it out. I
Yeah.
wish that I would have met Jenna 4 years, 5 years ago, and she would have said, intuitive messaging, that's it, go run. It's 5 years. And I just figured out that that's the thing I want to do in 2024. So just for context.
I love it. Well, I'm going to speak to that and tell you that journey you took is exactly the one you were meant to, and here is why.
Oh God. I wish it was shorter.
Your profile right here, you can see
Mm.
where my cursor is a
Madsen.
3-5
What does that
right
mean?
there. So a line 3. So basically, your profile is, in the simplest of terms, your personality
Mm.
and how your personality is designed to be. So, a 3-5 profile,
Mm.
line 3 is all about experimentation, trial and error,
Mm-hmm.
experiential. So you are designed to go through life experimenting, trying this on for size, trying that on for size, gathering data of what works, what doesn't work, so that then you can turn around and you've got all of this data compiled because you literally have firsthand knowledge. You tried it all. That's when this line 5 comes in, which is a
Mm.
problem solver, a guide. Now you're equipped to guide people and solve their problems from your real life experiences.
That is so
So,
good. That
yeah.
is so
So it's
good.
like it's nice to say, I wish I would have known this before and it would have saved me from my trial and error. I'm here to
Mm.
tell you, even if you had this information before, because of how you're innately designed to be, you would have still wanted to try things on for size for yourself and see for yourself. A line 3 doesn't take other people's word for it. A line 3 wants to see and experience for themselves. And a 3-5 together means you get to take that experience and guide others in it. So really,
That's so true because my best marketing is just talking about stuff I've tried. It doesn't matter if it worked or didn't. My best marketing strategy is this. I try something, it flops, I talk about it. I try
mhm,
something, it's average, I talk about it. I try something, it works, I talk about it. So I love to
mhm.
tell people about the failures and everything in between, not just the wins. And so that really gets aligned with the 3-5, which is
Yes.
try and then just tell people. And you'll be
And just
surprised if you're designed like this. People actually love knowing the stuff that didn't work as well.
I was just going to ask you, how's your
Yes.
engagement on things like that? I bet you get a lot of good response to things like
People
that.
love that stuff. I'll be surprised if this podcast interview doesn't get the same effect because we're just really roasting me here. Like, I
Yeah.
had no idea this was coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, when you utilize your natural energies, like you utilized your 3-5 energy to go
Mm,
on to your marketing and your posts, your content, your copy, everything you're writing, you're expressing, this is what I've tried, this didn't work, this is why, this is what I tried, this worked, this is why I loved it. Um, People respond to it more because on a subconscious level, we're always sensing people's energies, right? They're responding to
mm,
that energy because that is you. That is your authentic energy. And so they're going to respond to it. Now, if I tried to do that, those posts from me would not be as well received as they come from you because I'm not a 3-5. I
mm,
am a 5-1, so I'm still a problem solver and a guide. My one line is about research and investigating. So for
mm,
me, my content would look like I researched this, here's what I found. I
mm.
investigated this, here's what I found. And those are the types of things that people respond to me from. They're like, "Oh yeah."
Data.
And there's other components in your chart that come into play when we're talking about content creation and what's really going to shape it for you and like all the different things you can kind of bake into it that's going to make people
Mm.
be like, "Ooh, yeah." But that's definitely one of the pieces for sure.
I love it. It's so true. Like so true. And I don't know. I just share, and I don't really care if it's good, bad, makes me
Yeah.
look good or not. I just
Yeah.
share it because somebody out there, like when I started this podcast, I had no one on the YouTube channel, and I said, "Hey, announcement! We now have a podcast and a YouTube channel, and guess what? I have one big subscriber." And my husband was like, are you celebrating one subscriber? And I was like, yeah, do you want to be the second one? And he was like, I can't believe that. And I remember when we reached 100 subscribers, there's a woman who messaged me, and I think by then I'd done like 10 episodes or what. And she was like, I thought I was too late to the party. I thought I was too late for a podcast. I thought I was too late to create an audience. And you have demonstrated for me that I can't start because I saw you with one subscriber and I see you with 100. And that for me is enough. And so for me, that's my really inspiration. I don't
I
know the
love that.
one person who'll be touched by the one mistake I did or the one thing that didn't work. And so I just share it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love it. And people are drawn to it.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Energy is felt. Energy is
Mm,
subconsciously registered. So every single thing we do has energy behind it, whether it's good energy or misaligned energy. Your
mm,
audience feels it. So when it's misaligned and you're constantly showing up, say you have an entrepreneur. You're an online business owner. Organic social media marketing is your thing. You are showing
mm,
up, say you're posting on Facebook 5 times a day, and no one's responding to it, but you're following scripts, you're speaking from energies that are not your own, you're kind of forcing it instead of
mm,
allowing your innate natural energy to flow through it. So subconsciously, the people who come upon that piece of content or all of the content, they feel that resistance, that forcing, that hustling, that grinding, all of the like icky, not so good feeling energies. And they're
mm,
like, eh, and they keep scrolling. It doesn't compel them to stop. It doesn't compel them to engage. It certainly doesn't compel them to want to be in your space and buy your offers.
mm.
But when you
Yeah.
start understanding the pieces of your energy that are natural to you, like your 3-5, or how
Mm,
you speak intuitively, or how you speak your truth, you speak on demand, when those things or you speak you have you play with your desire and your motivation and your empowering, when those energies are now woven into the things that you're creating, and it's easier to do it because it's natural, you're not forcing it, it's just you're allowing it to flow out of you. Now your
mm.
audience feels it and they're like, wait, that's interesting, let me hit like, let me comment, wait, let me follow them, oh, let me get in her world. I think I want to work with her. So,
Sometimes what it is, it's that's different, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, that's different. And because it's different, it stands out for people because it's yours. Like,
It's yours. It's uniquely
mm,
yours, and they feel
yeah.
your good energy. Like I don't mean good as in good and bad, but like you're aligned, you're effortless, your natural energy. They feel that, and they're like, that is what draws people to you. That's when people are like, I like that feeling. I want more of it.
They
And they're not
haven't
necessarily
they
thinking
haven't
it.
seen it before because there's no one who has your exact print, I think.
Yes,
Mm.
exactly. It's a unique energy they've never felt before because it's yours and
Take
yours
us
alone.
to more goodness, Jenny. I do want to ask though, when I was new to business, before we get into the other stuff, when I was new
Yeah.
to business, there was this thing of you have to batch content. And if you're not
Oh,
batching
yeah.
content, you're not in the game. And I'm like, okay, let's batch some content. And I had no problem batching content. The problem came when I wanted to post, I had moved on. I didn't want to post that thing. And I kept
Mm-hmm.
batching content because somebody said, and I never used it.
Hmm.
And it occurred to me later on that, hey, you're not a batcher. But I had no idea where does that come from this chart? Because you can tell me to create content, batch it, I will, but I will not use it. Because by the time I'm supposed to post it, I'll have moved on. And even the
Mhm.
things I scheduled, I had to go delete them because in that moment, I wanted to share something else. Is that like the
Yes,
intuition?
yes. Because you're an
Mm,
intuitive speaker. I think
mm,
batching content, there's a lot of energies that come into play. You
mm,
have a sacral energy, which is all about life force. So physical energy, like go, 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 do, do, do.
mm, mm,
You have this root center energy defined, which is all about taking action, getting things done, crossing things off your goal list, your to-do list. And you have
mm.
that willpower energy. So all those things can come into play when somebody says batch content, you're like, okay, I can do that. You absolutely can because these energies are coming into play. I can't even try to batch content. I wouldn't even get it done. It would take me all day to construct like one or two posts if I forced myself to sit down and batch.
Wow.
Um, you're able to do it, but because the only center that your throat is connected to is your center for intuition.
Mm,
You like have this innate desire to speak intuitively. So when you batch that content on Monday, on Tuesday, it's like intuitively, I actually want to speak to this. Intuitively, I
mm.
want to speak to that. You've already moved on from it. So in that moment that you batched it, it made sense.
But that's really good because even when I create programs, I want to do my stuff live. I want to do more live things than I do recorded. So if I
Mm,
record a vault, it's gotta be these are the fundamental principles. This is what you need, but I'm gonna want to do things live for the most time. And knowing this really just helps you not kill yourself if you're not creating like 100 courses.
yeah,
It really helps you not force yourself to do things that everybody's doing. And so
yeah,
it really goes deeper than the content and even goes to how you show up, goes to how you coach, goes to I even like to like just coach one-on-one small group because I want the touch, I want the muscle, I want like this tissue with the person. I want to be able to face their energy and help them push through, which is what she was explaining before, being able to help people take their next bold move. And I kid you not, I've had a brand called Your Next Bold Move, and I didn't launch it because who knows? But now
yeah.
I see where it came from. I know people have dreams, but they're scared to step into them. And for me, stepping into dreams is like in my sleep. And so if
Hmm.
I created that brand, Your Next Brave or Your Next Bold Move, it would be something that naturally I can guide people through because I am this kind of person who goes without the fear if I'll die or not. Like if I die, we'll find out. But for now,
Yeah.
let's go.
That, like, to me, so all these centers right here that you have
Mm,
defined, I
mm.
have all of them undefined. So when you said
Wow.
your next bold move, I was like, yeah, I would love that because I don't have consistent access to these energies. These are not my gifts, and these are things I struggle with. These are my
Mm,
pain points.
mm,
So when we talk about pain point marketing, everybody immediately groans and they're like, oh, and we think to like the term bro marketing of like poke them in their pain points, find out where they're hurting and poke, 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 poke to make them think that you'll be able to solve their problems. But when you look at it from the lens of human design, it's more of coming from a more heart-centered space, leading with love of I recognize that my clients are going to struggle with willpower and motivation, empowerment, worth,
mm,
desire. I recognize my clients are going to struggle with making things happen, taking action, setting big goals and fulfilling them. I recognize my clients are going to struggle with that life force energy to go, to do, to focus on the creation mode that lights me up. I recognize that they're going to have issues with their emotions and that comes into play with everything they're creating. And I can guide them in that.
There's
So
a
it
way to
takes,
inspire people to see what you can do for them. Like I see what
yeah.
you mean.
And you can speak to
Dudes.
their
Mm,
problems. You can speak to the goal setting problems. You can talk about the willpower, the desire, the empowering, the value, the worth, those problems. You can actually talk about that in your content of like, you're probably feeling like this. You're probably experiencing this. Here's how
mm.
I can help you. So it's a problem solution content um, that you have like an endless supply of just by looking at your energy centers.
I noticed there are two type of people, people who are drawn to pain and people who are drawn to like inspiration. And
Hmm.
so if you don't appreciate pain, there's another way to speak to people, which is just call them in, just invite them, just show them what's possible, because that's the
Yes.
same. There's people who are
Yes.
drawn to inspiration and there's people who are drawn to pain. My people are more drawn to inspiration of what can happen for them, but it does the same thing.
Yeah,
It does the same
exactly.
thing. Yeah.
It's just a different way of like framing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What else do we need to know? Because we have 15 minutes to go and I need them to know like all the juice, all the goodness. What else is here that people need to hear before we hang up on this
Well, we
conversation?
touched a lot on the energies of content creating and messaging and how those
Mm,
different energies throughout your chart come into play. And we looked at the energy centers and we talked a lot about how you not only lead from the gifts of your defined centers, but your
mm,
clients defining who your clients are by understanding that they are the people who are struggling with your very gifts and need
mm,
your help in those areas. So now we've got a definition of our ideal client. It's
mm,
not it's not where they like to go out to dinner or where they shop. It's what they actually have problems with. And then you
mm,
know exactly how you're equipped to help them. Um, I would say, and we talked about your purpose, infusing your purpose into everything you do, that life work, that soul purpose, and making sure
mm,
that the energies of that is woven into all aspects of your business. Um, there's so much more that I go through with my
mm,
clients from
mm,
everything from time and energy management, right? So, as business owners, we have to understand how to construct our day-to-day routine and what our systems and foundations and processes and all those things in our business are. Well, you can do it by following somebody else's step-by-step prescription for what a successful business is, but 9 times out of 10, that feels gross. So what we
mm,
want to look at is our energy type. You're a manifesting generator. You have a very magnetic aura as a manifesting generator that draws people into you. So you're always having something to respond to. You're drawing people in, you're drawing opportunities in, you're drawing situations into you, and all you have to do is respond to them. So that starts to shape how you're showing up. You're showing up in response to the things that are happening around you, either in your physical environment or your virtual online environment, your business environment.
mm,
Understanding that you have a sacral energy and a root energy and an ego energy, so you can actually work in um, lengthy like time sessions, whereas I have none of these defined. So me as a projector with none of these centers defined, um,
mm,
I'm more conducive in my work environment in small focused bursts, 2 hours of very focused work and then allowing myself to rest. So I build a lot of rest into my schedule. You as a manifesting generator, you're designed to follow your passion, what truly lights you up. So you could construct a 12-hour day for yourself. The caveat to that is you must enjoy the things you are doing. If there's anything at
mm.
all that feels like I don't want to do it, but I have to, that drains you. That depletes your energy. So knowing that as a manifesting generator, a good habit or I guess piece of advice, way to combat that is to delegate.
Mm.
Are you able to delegate the things out that absolutely drain you? Because if you continue to do the things that drain you, that don't light you up, that kind of deplete your battery, your audience will feel that in everything you do and respond accordingly.
I want to
When
add
you,
to that
yeah.
because that, like I can literally do 12 hours non-stop, no problem. And I will get lost in what I'm doing and I forget to eat because I'm just lost.
Hmm.
And my husband will come and say, lunch. And I'm like, ah, okay. But what I wanted to say is when I'm designing my offers, I do
Hmm.
immersion, I do VIP days.
Hmm.
My offers I create for people who enjoy this type of experience. And so
Hmm.
I shy away from pay me for the next 5 years and let's do this thing. Like I would rather let's sit down this weekend, VIP 2 days, let's knock out whatever you need. Let's take out
Hmm.
this day to take care of your message and everything that you have to create. And so I sell intensity, I sell speed, I sell condensing of time. And so, in as
Yeah.
much as you're being given advice to create ABC, if you're not following this, you may end up creating things which drain you. And so I just wanted to
Hmm.
say that because when I'm creating my offers, I'm thinking about how I maximally like would serve someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that works in perfect conjunction with how your natural energy is.
Mm.
And you can know by understanding the other types of human design, you can start to know that, okay, with an intensive offer like this, I'm looking at calling in generators and manifesting generators because they're the ones who are going to respond well to this kind of intensive.
Yeah.
Reflectors, projectors, they're not my target or ideal audience for these offers because they're not going to respond well. And honestly, like if you knew somebody's human design beforehand, you can
Mm-hmm.
be in integrity and say, check in with yourself and see how this really feels for you. But if you're a reflector, you might not respond well to this and you might end up spending money and regretting it. So that's one
Mm.
thing I really love about having this understanding of human design is I can also look at my clients and be like, you know what? This isn't a good fit for you. And I really don't want you to invest this money and then walk away feeling like I'm mad that I did that, or I feel bitter that I did that, or I just don't feel good about it because it felt off to me energetically. It didn't work for me. I'm able to be like, this is what would work for you. This won't work for you.
Mm.
Unless you feel it will. I want to say a caveat to everything that I've been talking about
Mm.
is always check in with yourself and see how it feels in your body.
Mm.
If it
Mm.
feels good, then cool. If it doesn't feel good, you don't, what I'm saying doesn't need to be your
Mm.
truth.
Yeah.
Just
So
take
some
what resonates.
people, what I realize is this is good if you're signing people and you have to kind of help them go through this. So either you can decide you want to keep them, because I think for me the next step will be understanding other types, because then that shows me the difficulty a client is likely to face with me and how much I'm willing to stretch. And if
Yes.
I know that I'm not willing to stretch to that point, then I will, like, in all honesty, educate them and say, next time you're looking for a coach, I would suggest you look for somebody like this and this because of this and this. With me, I wouldn't take you on because this will be the struggle with us. And just
Yeah.
in honesty, serve people that way. I really think this is going to be very powerful for any coach who gets people that are not in alignment, people who struggle, people who are unhappy. You can really control your negative word of mouth by just
Yeah.
adding this to the
It's
tool.
it's powerful because now it allows you to act in integrity. Integrity
Mm,
for you and in integrity for them. And
mm,
instead of just taking everybody's money,
mm.
it's really having an understanding and people will love you for that. And you might get somebody who's like, no, 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 I really feel this. I really want to work with you.
Which
Well,
is
then you can
fine.
have
It's
a
a
further
different
conversation.
experience. It's a different
Yeah.
experience when this comes up in the forefront. Tell me
Yeah.
about, I know we have 8 minutes. Tell me about the Soul Blueprint. What is that?
I'm sorry,
Soul
oh,
Blueprint.
the Soulful
Mm,
Business Blueprint. Okay, so
mm,
that is basically what I do for my clients. So everything that we've been talking about today, I
mm,
create your business blueprint.
mm,
So, um, you know how uh, you have your business, you've developed a blueprint for it, how you market, how you
mm,
show up in your day to day, the services you offer, the clients that are your ideal, that you're, targeting, the way like your systems, your structures, like you have a blueprint for your business. What I find is most people adopt a conventional blueprint, a one size fits all that came from some business coach or mentor or some book they read or whatever information they found online. And they've been trying to fit themselves into this blueprint. What
Mm,
I do is I take a look at your human design and I create a business blueprint for operating your business that is unique to you. And I call it your SoulFull Business Blueprint. So now it's a unique, one of a kind blueprint that fits you instead of you forcing yourself to fit the blueprint. That is
It's like
my
going out
SoulFull.
to it's like going out to choose a dress versus tailoring the dress. It's so crazy and scary that when I was looking for my wedding dress, I tried on one dress and that was the gown and I bought it. To today, I still remember the conversation in the shop. I left my house. I said, guys, I don't want to try on gowns. Please show me my gown. And there's one shop I entered randomly and I was like, that's my gown. Like I entered, there were like 10 gowns on the floor, and I was like, hey, that's my gown. The guy looked at me and said, Mom, first, we charge per gown you're trying. And two, it would be absolutely a waste for you to come and try one gown. I said, oh, well, it's my loss. You have to understand we charge the same for 6 gowns as we charge for one gown. I said, cool. I paid. I said, can I try it on? It was new. They just brought it on. No one had worn it. I tried it on and she was crying. I said, why are you crying? She's like, oh my God, this is your gown. I was like, yeah.
It's the one.
I said,
Yeah,
how much is it? I think it was like 1,500. And I was like, done. So it
done.
is really scary. Like, this is more like just that.
Yeah.
Having your gown as opposed to trying on 30 gowns until you lose your breath and you're like, oh my God,
Ugh.
1 month later, I don't have a gun. Same. But sometimes our level of intuition is not, I don't know, is this too, like sometimes we don't have that connection to the intuition that we
Mhm.
need the structure. But what I really am feeling in my gut is that once you have this, then you can adopt everything for you. Then you have a plate to pick from of things which work for you because they are for you. So instead of going in the business world and trying everything and working, hustling and grinding, you can just do what works, what you know works.
Yes.
What you know
Yes.
is effortless, what you know is ease, and what you know doesn't feel icky. And that's really the work Jenna does. Jenna, what is it that we need to add before we conclude? Because I'm in respect of your time.
Oh, yes. I think the most important piece is to be in tune with
Mm,
what feels good for you and what doesn't. And give yourself the permission to follow what feels good and to let go of
mm,
everything else. Business is not one size fits all. And you're going to experience way more success by creating your own unique business, your own unique blueprint, your own unique rules and guidelines and processes than you would just by copying what someone else told you to do.
mm. Tell me more about, I know you do this for people, like 2 hour deep dive into this design for you and what your business looks like and what your sales strategy is and what your marketing strategy is. I know you do this, but
Yes.
what else do you do apart from a customized report like this, which you've read for me? What else do you do besides this for people?
I offer longer term one-on-ones, 3-month one-on-ones and 6-month one-on-ones. And that is where now we've done the deep dive, we've
Mm,
created the blueprint, and now we're putting into action together. We're implementing it together. When I guide my clients, it's not me up on a pedestal, like smiling down at you like the all-knowing expert saying, this is what you do, go do it. This is me linking arms with you and getting in the trenches of your business and
mm.
really making it work for you. I want you to walk away from working with me feeling fulfilled, feeling like what you're doing is impactful both for you and your clients, feeling that it comes from a place of ease instead of feeling like you're constantly in force and hustle and resistance, taking the ick out
Mm.
of it. I want you to love your business through and through.
In the
So yeah.
culture of the world's best kept secret, I need you to pause and think. And this can be a you as well, not a problem. But this is an intuitive podcast, which means if you're here, you're not here by mistake. So either you're the person that needs this work or you know somebody, fast connection that does. So I want you to pause and feel through this. Like, who do you know that needs to hear this? And I just want you to press your share and place this in their private space and just say, I landed on this and I just thought about you. That is how we move this message in the world. And if you're here because somebody shared this with you, then you know what you're doing. I do not want you to break the string. The way this message moves is we share it with one person that we believe it can change their business. Really, that's what you're doing. So if you stop and do that, you will have blessed me tremendously. The work on my heart, the work on Jenna's heart, and the future of the world's best kept secret. And as always, if you have your app nearby, pull your phone, go to Apple Podcasts, search for the world's best kept secret, or search for Prima Job. You will see so much stuff pulling up. There's 3 dots, click on that. It says go to show, click down, like just scroll down. There's like stars. Plus on the 5th one, that gives me a rating of 5 if you actually enjoyed this. And then there is review. Write something that can tell others what your experience was. That is how you can help me grow this podcast. I'm not running ads because this is really an intuitively built podcast, and I believe that the guides have a plan for how this message is going to move. And so if you want to be a part of it, that's what you can do. Find a way to contribute. Can you subscribe? Do you see a button to subscribe? Do you see a button to follow? What do you see a button to do? Whatever it is that you can do wherever you are, it helps more than you think. And so thank you for being a part of this. Jenna, last words. Send us
Yes.
off. Send us off.
I would love to help you in your business. I would love to be a part of your journey and making your business soulful. I'm extending to all of you. I invite you all to hop on a free call with me. It's a soulful business assessment. We take a look at where your business currently is. We take a look at where you want your business to go, and we look at your human design chart and we see how we can get you there and what it would look like to work together. And I would love to hear from you.
Whichever one it is you're using, whether it's Spotify, Apple, wherever, simply scroll through the show notes. There should be a link to jump on a free assessment call with Jenny. You will get your human design pull up in a second in her system, and then she will sit you through what it could look like. And if you want something as deep as mine, she didn't even do half of it, I think. If you want something as detailed, but like really diving in and all of that, then that's a 495 or something like that. But trust me, the difference between knowing this and not knowing this is you getting in the woods with a map versus you not getting in the woods with any map. If you've been in business for a while, that icky feeling around things that you don't understand, that business coach you hire and you're like, oh my God, I can't send another code DM. That script you look at and you cringe. That status of reaching in a sales call and you freeze because you don't know what to say, all that stuff and being taken care of. That hustle and grind of writing content year after year, no one is buying your stuff, that ends with this awareness. And so if your love is flow and you really want to have a real impact on people and you want to attract people who really will pay you money, this is the magic, you guys. This is the magic. People feed into this stuff and they either like you or they don't. But how do you let them like you if you're not able to show them what you can do? How can you show them what you can do if you do not know what your abilities are or what your special things are? This is like cheating the exam, but it's legal. And so if you like to condense time and you like flow, you like ease, you like to actually enjoy your business, you like to play with things that will work, like that marriage which you enter and you're like, 90% this feels good, versus that guy you marry because you're pregnant, it's not the same feeling. This is what we are doing here. We don't marry the guy because we're pregnant. We marry the guy because everything just feels good. You know? That's the difference. But what do people end up doing? Marrying the guy that, who knows? You don't want to do that with your business. Sending you all of my love and all of my appreciation. Thank you for hanging with us today. And I really hope that this was helpful to you. Jenna, thank you so much for being such a rock star. And we really, really celebrate you for all of the time that you took here with us, but mostly for the time you took to figure out all of these things in the wilderness. Thank you so much for the generosity and good insights. And for my chats, I felt like I took so much notes, I don't even know where to start. Thank you for joining this conversation on the world's best kept secret podcast today. If you feel ready to stop keeping your work a secret, head over to primajob.com and request